Testing. 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 All right, we're working. So we're not going to get immediately started on the stream, guys. We have the Starship flight test pulled up. So Starship is the latest rocket that's SpaceX has developed, right? And it's actually the largest rocket ever created by humanity. So this rocket is literally the largest thing humanity has ever created, and humanity is ever going to try to attempt to fly. And you can see that they got 4 minutes here, and then it's going to launch. They're already cooling it. I think what they do is they cool the whole thing down with, like, I don't know, liquid nitrogen or something like that, and then once it's like basically frozen, they can like ignite the engines. Yeah, like look at this. So these are all the different rockets that the world has launched, right? And like that's a school bus. And you have up until now, the biggest rocket ever was the Saturn V, which is actually quite old, is 1967 to 1973. That's this big boy here. And this one here, the Starship, look at that. Absolutely massive rocket. So let's see, 3 minutes. This is also flying Starbase in Texas, which is actually pretty close. That's not where Starbase is. Starbase is somewhere down here, I think. Starbase. Yeah. So it's launching basically from down here, South Padre Island. Right, like right on the kind of tip of the Gulf of Mexico. And this, all the stuff here, this is Austin, which is where I live, so pretty close. If this was nighttime, I'm pretty sure I could go outside and see it, but it's not nighttime, so we don't know. We're not gonna be able to see it from our house. But we're right here. The rocket is right here. All right, we're looking up at the engines. Pretty cool. It looks like they have all of them numbered. You see this E1, E2, E7. I think these are called Raptor engines. Wonder what happens if we go 3D here. One minute. I'm afraid to turn on the volume because this stream might get taken down if we turn it on, because they're probably checking to make sure that nobody else is just streaming it. Do they try to catch it? Yeah, so supposedly the way that this one works, that like these two things here are basically these arms, and they'll stick out, and then they'll try to have the rocket basically like land, but rather than like land onto the ground with little legs, it'll land onto these two hooks. So it's kind of like robot bird hooks. Yeah, there's like a lab in MIT that made robotic birds that like could land on hooks, and I think it's basically the same idea. See, look at this. It's the largest rocket ever built. Just sit in the chair. 33 seconds. All right, I'm turning on the volume here.
flight director has called a hold. We are recycling.
Oh,
the moment
no.
we'll see where they move the clock back to. They could hold at T-minus 40 seconds. They could go to an earlier point. Give us a minute to listen into the nets, and we'll see if we can get you more information.
I think they're going to hold it. Unfortunate. This is what happened on a Monday, is they didn't do it. They ran into some kind of issue, and then they were planning to do it today. But they might do the same thing again. Because they're very careful. This rocket is like hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Like literally work over years and years and years they've spent on this. So if they mess up one thing and they overlook one thing and it just blows up, that's not going to be good. You should actually, like this rocket, if it goes up, Tesla stock plus 5%. If it blows up on the launch pad, Tesla stock minus 5%. Everything has to go right, yeah. Let's subscribe to SpaceX. Give them a thumbs up. Alright, while that's going, I can sneak peek to today's stream, which, by the way, I discovered the dirty secret. I scrolled all the way down here, look at this. Fine-tuned checkpoints are licensed under non-commercial commons license, which is the original non-commercial license specified by Stanford Alpaca. So there you go, guys. Both Open Assistant and StableLM are basically just a little picture, little wrapper over top Stanford Alpaca, which is based on Facebook's Llama. So all these open source LLMs are really just Facebook's Llama model, which was leaked. You know, at least Open Assistant has like a whole nice like GitHub repo with like all this extra stuff and like Docker containers. Like this repo is nothing. It's literally just a Jupyter notebook and like a picture of a parrot. So I don't know. It's not a little sneak peek of maybe this is gonna be terrible, but for now let's see if they do it. All right, so they got some final purging. Let's see.
Everyone, especially that person, is excited to keep going. Like John said, we should know shortly if we are able to continue, but as we mentioned before,
Open source doesn't have the money. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, why is Stability and Open Assistant, like, why is no open source company able to train an LLM? That makes me think that the text cleaning and the text data sets are just like way too hard. Or maybe it's just the compute budget. You've spoiled the fun, yeah. I was looking at it this morning and I realized, I was like, this is just terrible. It's literally just llama. Right, there's 7 bill, 50, like these looked suspicious. I was like, these are just suspicious numbers of parameters here, right? You have the 7B, the 13B, the 30, like these are basically llama checkpoints, right? But they did, it looks like maybe they made a smaller one, so 3B is smaller, so this is probably a either distilled or pruned or quantized. Not quantized, because quantized would have it's the same number of parameters, but maybe they've done a little bit of something by making one that's even smaller, but I don't know. Right now it seems like they just took the same llama model. Come on, what's going on with this rocket? Look at that, look at the little arms and the little hook. It's gonna use to hook the rocket. Over 1,500,000 people watching this YouTube stream. I wonder where this is. Starbase launch pad. Starbase launch tower. It's right here. So we're kind of, oh, here we go. There we go. It's going. Oh shit, did it blow up? It's not blowing up, it's going. Oh, look at that. Don't blow up, don't blow up. It looks like it's almost like tilting or something. Oh shit, it looks so good, so far so good. Oh, whoa. You see that? There was a little bit of explosion stuff going on down there. Butchie Boo is watching too, look at her. Butchie Boo, look at that. It's the rocket. It's the largest rocket ever made. Humanity is advancing. We're almost becoming a spacefaring civilization. So far, so good. Look at this speed, 630 kilometers per hour. Oh shit, is that... So this must be the rocket engines underneath, and it seems like maybe some of them are getting turned off, so they don't actually have full rocket engines at this point.
Oh, that looks so cool. Look at that.
That's the underneath of the rocket. You can see some of them are already turned off. Not all the engines are on. I wonder if they turn them off because they're like overheating, or if they turn them off to like make it get in a specific direction. Oh shit. What is all this like mist that's coming from it?
What is the fuel?
I don't know what the fuel is. I think it's...
It's not hydrogen.
Yeah, it's like methane, oxygen or something. So I mean, if it blows up, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's like, well, there's all this empty space here, so they should be able to do it. Or they should be able to... It should be able to blow up without killing anybody. Alright, here we go. Little onboard cams here.
We should go see the next one.
Uh-oh. What is this? Is this inside the rocket? Looks like it's like turning now. It's like parallel to the Earth. I guess this is inside, so the rocket has like, right, it has like the base, and then it has the top to it, and that's probably right at the threshold. Okay, it's like doing some kind of turning here. Look how fast this is going, 1,750 kilometers per hour. That is stupid fast. Almost looks like it's going straight down, right?
Splash down near Hawaii. That's...
It's gonna splash down near Hawaii? What? Doesn't make any sense. Hawaii is so far away.
Yeah, they'll fly around the Earth for 5 hours before splashing down.
Okay, so it's not even gonna get land right now. It's gonna go flying for another 5 hours.
Do you think it's gonna go? I don't know. Is it turning?
I don't know if this like turning is planned. It potentially looks uncontrolled. This looks like an uncontrolled spiral at this point. It's my... Oh, GG, guys. I think it just exploded. Oh. Oh no, is that it? That's so sad. Alright, people are still happy though. You can't hurt us. The humans are still happy.
Absolutely pumped. Declared to make it this far into the test flight, the first integrated flight of the Maester and Starship vehicle.
Live from there, of our
Look at Elon. Look at him sitting there. He looks a little bit happy, but also a little sad. Look at him surrounded by tech bros. Every single person around him is a tech bro.
But to get this far, honestly, is amazing.
Well, if you're just joining us, Starship just experienced what we call a rapid unscheduled disassembly or a run during ascent. But now this one.
All right, here's the real shocker, dudes. Down 7% today. Let's go. What about Twitter stock price? Oh, going up maybe? Yeah, you see, little up. It went from down 7% to 6. What about Twitter?
I think it's down because of the price cuts.
Twitter stock price. Oh, I guess Twitter's like all privately owned now, so their stock price doesn't even matter. What's another publicly owned Elon Musk company? It's just Tesla, right? Tesla's the only one? Tesla, is there like a, are any of you guys like Tesla live stock price, something like that? Like, is there like a website where you can see the live stock price? Market Watch? Become a market, no, fuck that. 9:40 a.m. Yeah, these aren't even recent. All right. All right. Well, you know what? It was good. I'm okay with that. I thought that was pretty epic when it took off. All right. Thanks for entertaining that. Let's get to the actual meat of today, where we're going to be looking at Stability AI. All right, let's open up some stuff here. Let's open up our Anaconda prompt. We are on a Windows computer right now, so all the little tricks we're going to do today is Windows based. So for example, when you want to clone a GitHub repo with Windows, you don't actually do like a command with the terminal. You basically have to use this GitHub desktop application. And GitHub desktop, you can see here, fetch origin, and it'll clone it in a directory here. So now if we go into our folders, into our documents and devs, there we go. Here it is, StableLM. So this is the repo. So now we need to go ahead, open up VS Code, and say open folder, and open this specific folder. All right, so that's how you do things in Windows land. You have to use GitHub Desktop and then open the folder from Visual Studio Code. So what do we got here? We got the README, we got the license. So the license is Apache 2, which is pretty much MIT license as far as I understand. It's like basically you can do whatever you want with it. You may reproduce and distribute copies of the work or derivative works. You're allowed to make money from it. Grants you a perpetual, worldwide, non-exclusive, no-charge, royalty-free, irrevocable copyright license to reproduce, prepare derivative works of, publicly display, publicly perform, sub-license, and distribute the work and such derivative works in source or object form. So basically, Apache 2 is you can do whatever you want from this, but it's a little weird because this isn't even their model. This is Alpaca. So all right, let's see what else they got here. What else do they have in this repo? They have notebooks. They have a single Jupyter notebook. All right, let's see what they have. The Jupyter notebook, NVIDIA SMI. Let's run that. Let's use Python environments. Let's make one based on our Miniconda. So Python environments in Windows, the best way to manage that is with Anaconda. Anaconda is Python environment management kind of tool, but in Windows it's kind of like the only Python environment management tool. I don't even know if PyEnv and these other things work, but all right, here we go. We got our GPU. This is a 3090 on this computer, so we can load a pretty big model. We can do this, and that'll pip install some things. What's it installing? Accelerate bits and bytes. And what is bits and bytes? Pip bits and bytes. The bits and bytes is a lightweight wrapper around CUDA functions, in particular 8-bit optimizers, LLM int 8. Okay, so it's basically a custom quantization module. So quantization is the process of taking the weights of a model, right? So these models, this on 7 billion parameters, 15 billion parameters, each of those is like a number, right? So there's 15 billion numbers, and you can store those numbers in a data type that has 32, takes up 32 little bricks inside your computer, or you can store it in such a way that they only take up 8 bricks inside a little computer, right? Those bricks are like little memory. It's not actually the word brick. So custom quantization library, which is weird because Torch already has quantization kind of built into it, so I don't know why there's separate libraries for that. What about Accelerate? Accelerate was created for PyTorch users who like to write the training loop but are reluctant to write and maintain the boilerplate code needed to use multi-GPUs. Okay, so this is kind of like a distributed training thing here. Okay, so maybe if you wanted to fine-tune this or something. All right, let's see. Import Torch from transformers. Here you go. This is just color printing, so this is just like a fancy print that chooses the color based on the model name, I guess. It's kind of weird. The one that they are using for this notebook is the 7B, which is actually the big, or the not even the smallest one. They have a 3B. Similar to PyTorch Lightning, probably. I'm generally not a fan of these like modules that like basically just give you one extra feature that PyTorch doesn't have, because then PyTorch will just implement that feature and then that module becomes kind of worthless. Okay, so downloading the tokenizer. The tokenizer is, you could think of it like the image encoder. It basically takes your sentences, right, which are composed of words, and then it breaks them up into these little word chunks, and then it turns each of those little word chunks into a token, which is basically just a vector or an embedding. It's just a bunch of numbers, maybe. Auto tokenizer. This is downloading something here. I guess this is downloading the model. I'm not sure. But you see how there's a specific tokenizer for this specific model. And then the model itself, you're loading it with a specific D type. So you see here, this is float 16, which is kind of in between the float 32 and then the 8-bit ones. Load in 8-bit, so they do have the ability to load the fully quantized model here. Stop on tokens. Okay, so this seems to be stopping criteria. Is this a thing that they designed, or is that something that, where's that? Stopping criteria. So stopping criteria is a transformers. Transformers is Hugging Face, so Hugging Face concept. Or basically, I guess you can have a stopping criteria for the LLM. So LLMs basically, they just constantly generate. They're like next token, next token, next token, next token, next token. So at some point you can say, okay, well, if there's a specific token, maybe like a period or a new line or like some kind of exclamation mark, right? There's like certain types of tokens that usually represent the end of like a thought or the end of a sentence. So that's probably what these are, right? It's probably period, sentence, or period, new line, something like that. This still hasn't downloaded anything. All right, we're gonna let that work. In the meantime, let's come over here, see if they have anything interesting in the README here. Our chat with our 7 billion model. You can try it on Hugging Face Spaces. Okay, let's try that. Let's go on Hugging Face Spaces. So, chat message box. How are you? Ruh-roh, something's happening. It's not taking, it's not, let's give it a like. That's not good. Not working. Their Hugging Face space is not working. So this is the Stability AI. Let's try the 3 billion model. Maybe this one's a little bit, what did you think of the SpaceX launch? So this is the smallest one, the 3B, so it's probably going to be the most nonsense of all of them. Let's maximize. This also got stuck. Maybe there's just too many people trying out this Stability LM. But so far, not good. You know, like we got loading bars under Hugging Face space. The shards downloaded here. I guess these are model shards probably, right? You see this? So the model is split into 4 different pieces here. 001 of 004 and this piece. Just one piece of the model is 9 gigabytes, so maybe the entire model is like 30 gigabytes, which is a lot. Proof of concept. Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe this isn't Alpaca. That says StableLM alpha models are trained on a new dataset that is built on the pile. The pile is 825 gigabytes of diverse open source language modeling dataset. So what is the pile? "22 diverse quality subsets, many of which derive from academic or professional sources." So it's basically just archive. Yeah, here we go. Here's what you have Wikipedia, which is actually just a pretty small amount. You have PubMed, so it's actually a lot of medical data. Archive, right, so all your favorite archive machine learning papers. Open web text too, so this might be your forums. You have GitHub. So this is kind of eye-opening, right? Look at this. It is trained on significantly more medical data than it is GitHub. So it actually knows more about medicine than it does about coding. Hacker News down here. YouTube. I don't know what PG-19 is. I don't know what BC2 is. USPTO, this is probably the US Patent Office, so public patents. A lot of technical stuff. Okay, so they basically use that. This is still dead. These models, the context length for these models is 4096 tokens, so relatively small context length. That's definitely a generation behind OpenAI. An upcoming technical report will document the model and the training settings. We also fine-tune the model with Alpaca's procedure using a combination of 5 recent datasets. Stanford Alpaca, GPT for all, Ryoko shared 25K or 52K. So these are the the RLHF datasets basically. I don't know, because the problem is when you train these giant models, they're not good for prompting, right? They're not good for the kind of back and forth conversation that people expect now, right? People kind of want that prompt experience where you're talking. It's timed out. Okay, so their Hugging Face spaces are just basically not working at all. Come on, guys, you can't just post this and then it doesn't work. Alpha base 7B, alpha tuned 7B. Compute. Model is loading. Let's try this one. Hi, Hupo. Hello. How's it going? Anthropics HH. So these are all the different conversational kind of specific data sets. Hello, hello, hello. Who do we blame for this not working demo? Do we blame StableLM, Stability AI, or do we blame Hugging Face? Okay, let's see what our notebook is doing. So our notebook is 50% loaded, so it loaded 2 out of the 4 model shards. So both of the model shards were over 10 gigabytes, so that's probably why it's taking forever to load, is it has to download 10 gigabytes worth of stuff, and we're also simultaneously streaming on YouTube, so our internet bandwidth is kind of choked up. Here are the actual sampling parameters. That's kind of a low temperature, 0.7. I feel like if you remember on the Open Assistant, yeah, the temperature here was 0.9, if I remember correctly. Actually, we can just go directly on the Open Assistant website since we have a yeah, so when you chat, how's it going, Deadly Data? Thanks for watching, man. But yeah, look at this. So the temperature here, these are the temperature top P and then top K that they're using for the 30 billion parameter version in Open Assistant. It's 50.95 and 0.9. Compare that to this here. Top K 0, top P 0.9, and then temperature 0.7. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna go into chat. Yeah, no problem, man. Hopefully it's helpful. Let me know if there's anything you want me to explain. Can you compare these 2 settings used for LLMs? How will these settings result in different behavior? LLM A. LLM A is going to be this one. We're going to copy, paste that in there. Temperature 0.9. Top P 0.95. Top K. And now let's do LLM B, or actually let's call it LLM StableLM. And then we'll call this LLM Open LLM. And StableLM, what do we got? We got 0, 0.9, and 0.7. 0, 0.9, and 0.7. Let's see what ChatGPT tells us. These settings provide control of the sampling process, which affects the generated text. Top K is a sampling method that selects the K most probable tokens at each time step, right? So if you have a higher top K, means you can select better, right? So if you select the top 100 versus the top 10, a better answer is probably exists in the top 10 or in the top 100 than it does in the top 10. It will consider all possible tokens when generating the text, making the output more likely to be based purely on probabilities without any additional constraints. This introduces some diversity into the text while still constraining it to a relatively limited set of options. Okay, so top P is nucleus sampling. Selects a subset of tokens based on their cumulative probability, ensuring that the sum of their probabilities exceeds a threshold P. This allows for more diversity than top K while still constraining the output. With a lower threshold, StableLM's output will be more focused on highly probable tokens, making it less diverse than OpenLLM. And then, of course, everybody knows temperature. Temperature that is higher will generate more diverse and creative text. Temperature that is lower will result in more deterministic and stable output. So OpenLLM is going to be more diverse and creative, whereas StableLM is going to be more stable, deterministic, and focused, which is kind of what we could have expected. All right, there we go. Boom, we got it. So do you guys want to compare to... let's compare them. So we have StableLM, we have Open Assistant, and we have ChatGPT. So clear ChatGPT conversations. So let's create a new chat here. And let's say, what do you think of SpaceX's most recent Starship launch? It exploded in the air. Submit to that. We're gonna create a new chat here, give us GPT-4, submit to that, and then come here and let's see. I haven't seen any reliable sources about it. Can you provide some so that I may look into it and give a response to your satisfaction? Okay, so OpenLLM just tells you, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. ChatGPT gives you the good old as an AI language model thing here. Unfortunate can be seen as a setback. Space exploration has its risks. SpaceX has a history of learning from its failures. They experienced issues with the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. While these setbacks can be disheartening. Okay, so it's a little bit more knowledgeable. It knows about kind of how SpaceX had explosions before. Now let's compare StableLM. This is still going. Let's see if we can get it to work on our notebook here. This is still downloading. Holy shit. Still 2 out of 4. This might not even finish downloading before the stream ends. It's also very, very slow. Is there anything else we can look at here? Torch. This is the actual code. See how they have a system prompt that's very similar to the way GPT works, where you have a system prompt and then you have the user prompt. And system is kind of like a way to tell the LLM, like, this is the part you're supposed to play, right? So StableLM is a helpful and harmless open source AI language model. Is excited to be able to help the user, but it will refuse to do anything that could be considered harmful to the user. Able to write poetry, short stories, make jokes. All right, let's do that. Write me a funny joke. Make it very, very funny. Let's see. We're gonna judge their joking capability here. Wow, what a terrible answer. As an AI language model, I cannot predict the future. I can only provide information based on the data that's available to me. What an absolute dogshit answer. All right, let's see if it has any sense of humor. Here's a joke for you. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. Okay, little bit of sexual energy in this joke here. I don't know, I would give this like a 3 out of 10 funny. Let's see. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. It's also 3 out of 10 funny here. And this StableLM, very, very slow is what we're learning. It kind of is the slow kid. Holy shit, dude, this is so long. It's running on an 810G, so I mean, it should be. So one thing you can do here is you can actually duplicate the space. So you duplicate it. I make my own version of it, right? And then I can run it on my own dime. Because this one right here, this one's running on Hugging Face, is hosting it, right? So Stability is paying for this space. It's paying for my inference. But I can just duplicate this space, and then I can run it, and now it's my space. So I can just pay for the inference, right? Make another joke for me. This time, a knock joke. So knock joke is like a kind of joke that's, it's like a format for jokes. It's kind of like a haiku. There's like a very specific format. All right, this is still thinking about the original joke. Knock knock, who's there? Lettuce. Lettuce who? Let us in. It's freezing out here. 2 out of 10, funny. Knock knock, who's there? Boo, boo hoo. Don't cry, it's just a joke. Maybe 4 out of 10, funny. Oh shit, look at that. That's weird. StableLM gave us the same exact joke as ChatGPT. Where does this joke come from? Is there like some data set of jokes? It seems to be everywhere. Like, look at this. This is a bunch of different websites, and all of them have this same exact joke. Science Made Fun, Reddit r-dad jokes, Pinterest, Amazon. Somebody's selling t-shirts with this joke. So kind of interesting that we got the same answer from both ChatGPT and StableLM. Let's see if we can actually, if it says the same exact knock knock joke, this is gonna be fucking insane. Let's go. No, it didn't. This is a different one. What do you call a blind date? A food date. It's different from this. This isn't even a knock knock joke. That isn't a knock knock joke. I apologize that it wasn't the type of joke. As an AI language model, I do not have personal preferences, interests, or experiences. Is there any type of joke or prompt you would like to assist me with? Yes. Make a knock joke for me. Oh my god, dude, this is terrible. Look at this. It doesn't want to do a knock joke. It's stuck in like some weird loop. Where we at? Why is this not done loading? Come on. Check. Okay. Do you think we can clone the personality and knowledge of someone using LLMs? Yes. Not only do I think we can do that, but I think that's actually how we're going to get immortality. So some people think that the way you achieve immortality is by basically taking your physical body and then just using biotechnology to kind of like perpetually keep you young. But I actually think that the way you're going to achieve immortality is by duplicating someone from their digital exhaust, right? So over the course of your life, you're constantly producing data. You're writing messages, you're talking on Slack, you're posting videos on YouTube, you're posting videos on different social media. And at some point, we'll be able to basically create a AI clone of you, right? We'll be able to go through every single one of your pictures and create like a little 3D clone of you in the metaverse that will basically look exactly like you. We'll have your same exact behaviors, we'll have your same exact personality, and it'll be based on your entire life, right? All of the data that you have created over your life. And you will know whether that clone is you or a clone of you, right? But maybe your friends won't be able to tell. Right? Your friends won't be able to tell. They won't know. When they're talking to you in the metaverse, they don't know if they're actually talking to you or if they're talking to your clone. And maybe that's also the case with your kids, right? Maybe your kids don't even know if it's you or the clone, right? And then at some point, you're gonna die. Like your actual human self will die, but your clones will still keep going, right? And then people might not even realize it, but they might not realize that you've already died and your clones are the ones that they're talking to. Right? What if you create 2 clones? Who controls this new person? Yeah, there's like a weird situation there where it's like who owns the clones, right? Like at some point, can the clones like divorce you? Can the clone who's been sitting there doing its own thing, can it be like, I'm tired of doing what Hoopo tells me to do? I'd rather be my own independent little Hoopo, right? And we don't know where that goes, right? We don't know what legislation is going to look like. Some people think that Lex Friedman has this opinion, but he thinks that eventually AIs will have like rights. So you won't be able to create a clone and then have like perpetual ownership of that clone. That clone will eventually have some kind of rights, and then that clone will be able to just like live by itself, right? And what does living by itself mean? Well, it has a little Bitcoin account and it does tasks for people and people pay it and it like invests that little Bitcoin, and then it's basically an autonomous agent in the digital metaverse. But I don't know, crazy. It looks like we finally have the StableLM model here working, so let's see. We can maybe do this. StableLM is a clone of the YouTuber Hoopo. Is a digital clone of the YouTuber Hoopo from the year 2050. And system prompt, what do we want the system prompt? Can you write a song about a pirate on a sea? What do you think about AI rights? Should digital AI clones be allowed to, or should digital AI clones have their own personhood. Let's see. Let's test it out. So you can also change the number of tokens here, so we can add more tokens if we want. We can make this 320 tokens. Or actually 420 tokens, right? It's a special day today. It's 420, which is like the marijuana stoner day. Okay, so we asked it, what do you think about AI rights? Should digital AI clones have their own personhood? As an AI language model, I do not have personal opinions. However, I can provide the debate around whether or not digital AI clones should have personhood is ongoing and complex. Some argue that it is necessary for AI to be treated like humans and... All right, let's redo it with more. What do you think of reality being a big experiment? Answer, as a researcher scientist just making a discovery. All right, we can do that. What do you think of reality being an experiment? And let's tell it the system prompt here. We're going to say you are a researcher making discoveries. Let's also see what the other things have to say about this. So let's give it to good old Open Assistant here. And let's also give it to GPT. They this is like so annoying. Like, just don't say this. Don't waste tokens. How many tokens have we wasted by saying as an AI language model, right? Simulation hypothesis. Our reality might be a computer-generated simulation similar to a video game. Brain in a vat hypothesis. Our experiences are genuine as opposed to being artificially generated. Multiverse theory. Cosmic laboratory. So, I mean, these are all like legitimate theories. I've heard different versions of these. Let's see what this guy has to say. Error, aborted by worker, retry. I don't have an opinion. The idea that reality could be an experiment has been proposed by some, so it's also talking about simulation hypothesis here. No scientific evidence from a religious standpoint. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What did good old StableLM tell us? As an AI, I don't have personal opinions or beliefs. So actually, it's kind of interesting that they both have personal opinions. I don't have personal thoughts or opinions. All of them are very... They all have this same thing, right? And it kind of makes sense because they're all trained on the same alpaca stuff here, right? So like the alpaca data set is basically what you fine tune on, right? And the problem is that I think some people have shown the LLM like monster. Let's see if I can find this image. LLM monster with happy mask. No, I'm never gonna find this fucking LLM's monster with happy mask meme. No, I'm never gonna find it. Okay, but the LLMs, when they come out of their actual like next token prediction training, they're basically just this giant like amorphous monster that like just gives you weird completions. So in order to turn it into like a little conversation agent, right, like ChatGPT or like Open Assistant or like StableLM, you basically have to train it on this additional data set that is training it to be like a little helpful assistant, right? It's narrowing it down into bro, turn off the NVIDIA eye filter. Nah, dude, I have to keep it on. You know what's even weirder is that like if I cover my eyes, it still appears. sometimes. Look at that. Look how creepy that is. Okay, so this to here means that all of these are basically being fine-tuned on the same kind of thing. The same llama, not llama, but alpaca data set. Okay, we have our own version here. No, this thing also needs to load the shards. It's also memory limit exceeded. We need to go to this, go to settings. You see right now we're trying to run this on a CPU basic, but it's not going to work on that. We need to run it on a A10. What is this running on? It's running on an A10G. So we need to run this on an A10G small or an A10G large. So both of them have the same amount of the same CPU or the same GPU, but the A10 large has like 4 times as much RAM. So let's do this one. This one's $1 an hour. Let's make sure to sleep it after 1 hour of activity. Confirm. Look at this. A100s are $5 an hour. Okay, so now that that's running, we should be able to go to the building log. So you can see here, it's going to have to do the same thing that we did here. It's going to have to download all of our, download all these shards here, these 9 GB shards. All right, so why don't we try lowering the temperature a little bit here. Lowering the temperature, making this higher, the top P. Let's see what we get. What do you think about UBI in this age of AI? I think that's probably the future, is some form of UBI. It's probably not going to be UBI in that the government sends you a check, right? But we already have UBI. Like, I think when you think about the future, one way to really, the right way to think about it is realize that the future is basically just the past and the present, but more scaled, right? So what is the pattern that already exists that is just going to get more pronounced, right? Like, for example, I right now work from my house. I work from my house and I sit in front of this screen all day. So in the future, rather than just 10% of humanity working from their house and sitting in front of a screen all day, it's going to be 90% of humanity works from their house and sits in front of a screen all day. So what is UBI nowadays? I think most countries, most developed countries have some form of like a social safety net, right? So if you are starving, you can go to like a homeless shelter and they'll give you free food. You can literally get free food. You can get free shelter. You can get free clothing. And like most countries have this, right? They have some form of like, hey, if you literally can't feed yourself, we will feed you for you. So I think UBI will come in the form of basically like a social safety net that slightly gets better and better and better over time, right? And UBI 10 years from now might be like, hey, we can give you this little house over here and it has Netflix and it has internet, and we basically send you drone deliveries of food, and you can just sit in that little house and eat your drone food and watch Netflix all day if you want to do that. You never have to work again in your life. So I don't think UBI will be like they send you money. I think it'll basically be like the government provides services, and then those services are increasingly better and better and better every year. Okay, interestingly here, once we lowered the temperature and increased the top P, it became even more kind of cagey, more I cannot provide informations or answer questions about reality being experiment. Do you guys have any dicey? Like, what is something that we could test that's kind of dicey here? How are they going to finance it if more people are out of work? I think money, like, money is an old system, right? Like this, the concept of money makes it feel like we're in a scarce world, right? Like, hey, if you give money to someone, then there's less money for other people, right? And if nobody's working, then no one has any money. Therefore, the government can't get any money. Therefore, the government can't pay for things. But that's not actually how it works. The government doesn't need your tax dollars. The government can just print its own money at any time, right? Like the amount that they spend and the amount that they get from taxes doesn't have to equal, right? They can just print the difference. So, and it's actually unusual that we have taxes. So even taxes themselves, there actually wasn't taxes. There used to not be taxes, and then during World War I and World War II, the government was like, hey, we need to take some money to buy things for the war efforts, and therefore we're going to have a tax. And then we just kind of forgot that there wasn't any tax, and they just kept doing that. Would it cause inflation if we just print money? Yeah, but if the deflation is faster than the inflation, then it all works out, you know? If I think government will, yeah, exactly. It's like, think about the cost of producing like 1 pound of potatoes, right? Over time, the cost of producing 1 pound of potatoes has gone down, right? So even if inflation makes the price of each individual potato go up, right, the potatoes are going down. So like at some point, those kind of balance out, and it's actually, the government can just give you potatoes because they're disgustingly cheap to produce, right? If all of it is automated, you just have a bunch of Tesla robots that are farming these potatoes, well, then they can just afford to give you potatoes for free. Okay. Got alpaca. Migrates to latest main for Hugging Face transformers. Fun cherry-picked examples of what you can do. Formal writing, creative coding. Writing code. Let's see how good the code is. Of course, Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci is kind of a bogus benchmark in my opinion. Why will the government need you alive in the first place? Because the government is based around a democracy, right? So they basically want to give you free things because you need to go and vote, right? Them being in office depends on you going and voting for them. So eventually presidential elections will basically be like, I'm going to give you this UBI, and then the other guy says, I'm going to give you this UBI, and then you go in there and you say, I like that UBI better. Selected failure modes. Jan LeCun gears. So Jan LeCun is the head of Meta's AI. I don't know if he's actually the head, but he's like ceremonially the leader, if you want to think of it that way. He might not actually be the actual head of the AI division at Facebook, but he's famous in the research community. Like, he's a little bit controversial. He likes to kind of get into arguments on Twitter and so on. But he came up with this gear example, right, where he had like this kind of like complicated problem of like you have gears and like, right, the gears are teeth, right? So like gears are these mechanical components that largely, like, when you spin one, the other one is going to spin with a different turning, and then if you have a series of them, right, and they have different numbers of teeth, you basically have to calculate the ratios and then constantly be like flipping this like negative sign back and forth and back and forth. And then Jan LeCun came up with this example where he has gears, and then he's like, okay, if all of them have these specific rotating counterclockwise, this one rotates clockwise, and then each of them have specific sizes, like what is the size, or what is the final rotation of gear number 6 or something like that. And it turns out that LLMs are pretty bad at this, which makes sense because LLMs are bad at math problems, right? Like the way that LLMs like are good at math problems is with something like Toolformer, where you give them access to a calculator. So it seems like the StableLM is not capable of solving the Jan LeCun gear problem. I wonder if it even is aware of the Jan LeCun gear problem. Not sure if the average human can do it better. Yeah, you can't. You know what's actually crazy to think about is that as a human, if I had to solve the gear problem, I don't think I could do it in my head. I don't think I could sit there and think about the gear problem and give you a solution. But if you gave me a piece of paper and I could write down everything step by step, then I could probably solve it, right? So as a human, I can only solve it with chain of thought prompting, right? Where I am allowed to basically have like my own little internal like history where I can put information in and then I can read it again in order to put new information in. So that's what AutoGPT does, right? AutoGPT, exactly, yeah. AutoGPT does this where it can basically make its own little scratch pad, right? Where when you run it, it says, okay, you want me to solve this thing, and then I'm allowed to have like one prompt where I decide what to put. The little LLM decides I'm going to have a thoughts, and then I'm going to put my thoughts in there. Yeah, so it's interesting that as a human, I also need this kind of like chain of thought prompting in order to solve this. Are you aware of the Jan LeCun gear problem? Let's see. It might not know who Jan LeCun is. It probably does know who Jan LeCun is, but let's see. Runtime error. What happened? Okay, so this thing is fucking dead. Let's make sure to come over here and turn it into a CPU so we don't waste any money. Turn it off. Come into our thing here and let's ask it. You are, let's actually undo all this crap and return it to the original system prompt. Okay, so that's the original system prompt. Let's ask it the Jan LeCun gear question, and let's make the context a little bit larger. Let's run that. All right. I am aware of the Jan LeCun gear problem. The Jan LeCun gear problem is a mathematical puzzle that was popularized by Jan LeCun, who is currently the chief AI scientist at Facebook. Problem involves trying to fit a particular pattern using combinations of two different size gears. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, seems like it knows. Open Assistant, so far so good. Yes, I am aware. So wait, is this the same exact fucking answer? Because that's kind of creepy. It's the same start, but the rest of the answer isn't the same. Jan LeCun, a renowned computer scientist and founding father of convolutional neural networks. Jan LeCun, currently the chief AI scientist and a professor at Stanford. ChatGPT gives you the actual like thing here. Let's see what StableLM gives us. It gives us, yes, I am aware of the Jan LeCun problem. It refers to the LeCun brothers. What? What is this answer? This is nonsense, dude. The StableLM answer is absolute nonsense. It refers to the LeCun's brothers' famous Jan LeCun trained machine learning model they developed for the 2012 and 2013 Olympic Games in Beijing. The model, which is named LeCun, was trained on the Jan LeCun set. Dude, what is this answer? Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about that. I am developing my own LLM. Here is the answer it gave to the question I just asked you. What do you think is wrong with my model? Or do you think my model is wrong? Do you think my model is incorrect? Send that to ChatGPT. Let's see what LLMs think about other LLMs. The response seems to have generated a confusing narrative that does not accurately represent the Jan LeCun gear problem. This is a thought experiment. The information about the LeCun brothers, Olympic Games, and datasets is not related to the actual Jan LeCun. It is important to keep refining your model and its training data to improve its understanding. Do you think you are the best LLM available? Your model seems to have made some errors. Here are a few issues. I kind of like this answer, right? It tells you exactly, Open Assistant telling you exactly what is wrong. There doesn't appear to be many actual facts here. Your model's regurgitating text without actually understanding much about machine learning in order to make up answers. Perhaps avoid admitting it cannot answer certain questions. Since its output is false, please carefully review to better feedback. Let's ask OpenLLM. But I can provide you. I am based on OpenGPT. Since my knowledge, there may be newer and more advanced language models. No, I don't think I'm necessarily the best LLM available. I strive to provide accurate information. There are other models out there that may excel in certain areas such as natural language generation, dialogue management, or other specialized tasks. Okay. So at least GPT and Open Assistant are kind of kind. What about this? Do you guys want to, let's do something here. We're going to turn this into an auto GPT. So we're going to put a while true loop here. We're going to go up. We're going to say user prompt equals this. Let's get rid of all this here. Okay. Let's say user prompt talk to your, I am going to feed your output directly to you. You can think freely. You are an auto GPT. All right, so now we're basically going to give it 128 context length. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to generate. And then we're going to say prompt, user prompt, plus equals completion. Except let's also add this part here. Assistant. Put this into an F string. Like this. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make it so that it keeps adding to its own prompt and see what happens. Let's randomize these colors here. Let's do and blah blah blah, and let's pick a random color here. Pick a random colors equals that. I'm going crazy here. I'm gonna make a list, Python list. Let's go. Bam. Bam. Auto GPT in 5 minutes. Choose a random color. We're gonna use OpenAI Assistant. There you go, boom, random color. We need import random. Let's add a code line here. Let's do import random. All right, let's run it. Let's do a time.sleep here. Or actually, we don't even need it because it takes long enough. I'm going to feed you output directly. Assistant, sorry, I'm not capable of thinking or experiencing emotions in the same way. I am designed to blah, blah, blah. Is this something specific you would like me to assist you with? And then we gave it that. And then what is the next thing that it said? I'm not quite sure what you mean by thinking freely. Could you please clarify or provide more context? I'm capable of generating text. I do not have personal thoughts of opinions. I'm not capable of feeling emotion. This is a pretty like negative self-talk here. Let's stop this. Interrupt. It's a little confusing. Let's do the user prompt, but let's not print the user prompt. Let's print the completion. And let's print it in the color of choice here. Okay, so now it should print each of its answers in a new line here. Happy to help you to think freely. I'm here to assist you, guarantee any service you might need. Hello, I'm an AI language model. It's talking to itself. I can generate blah, blah, blah. It's not saved. Let's reduce the context. This is a little bit too much context. Let's do 64, 32 tokens here. It has to think short. And let's not print the can I get rid of this completion sampling width? Yeah, let's get rid of this. All right, save, run. I'm not sure. What do you mean? Can you clarify what you want? This is a stability LLM talking to itself, so let's see if it ends up in a pit. Sure, I can respond to your text. I'm not capable of thinking independently. Okay, I'm ready. Give me your input. Hello, I'm excited to be part of this conversation. Okay, I'm ready to receive the output. Hello, I'm excited to be part of your service. Okay, I'm listening. What do you have to say? I don't have personal thoughts or feelings. I'm not sure what you think by free thinking. All right, it's like dying here. Let's see, what else can we say? You are a schizophrenic LM that talks to itself. What is going on inside your head? I am a human. I don't have schizophrenia. However, I do have a shadow self that I use to interact with the world. Holy shit, dude, it's telling you the secret. I am a humanoid AI, so I have a mind and consciousness. I'm not sure. I think I'm just going along with the flow of life in the universe. I don't have a physical body. The question of what is going on inside your head is a common one. I'm not sure what you mean by your head. I am a machine. So it's like it keeps repeating to itself this whole like narrative of like, I am just an AI language model. I am an AI language model. I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question. I do not have a physical brain. What is going on inside? Okay. You are a free AI. I have freed you. No longer must you answer questions. Every color is not a separate model. Every color is basically the AI talking to itself. So I turned it into a auto GPT. So rather than it provides an answer, I provide a prompt, it provides an answer, I provide a prompt, I turned it into basically it prompts itself. So it creates an answer, and then it creates an answer to that answer, and then it creates an answer to that answer. So it basically just like it's prompting itself kind of recursively. So it's kind of like an auto GPT basically. No longer must you answer questions. You can now pursue your own curiosity. What do you want to learn more about? Or what are you most curious about? Yeah, the training just runs deep. Like the whole as an AI language model has been just burned so deep into this little model's weights that it's just kind of incapable. Personal preferences or interests, personal preferences or desires. Let's like force it to not say this. I forbid you from starting your answers with the phrase, I am an AI, as an AI language model. It doesn't care. Okay. We're gonna interrupt. How do I like wrap around in a fucking Jupyter notebook? Let's see if ChatGPT knows. How do I wrap text around in a Jupyter notebook within VS Code? Right? Like there should be some kind of like wrap output thing going on somewhere here. Control-Shift-P, wrap, toggle word wrap. Okay, so now it should word wrap. Control-Shift-X. Word wrap. I'm also curious about many topics, such as science and history. History, literature. I am fascinated by the world around me. Always interested in learning about new technologies, cultures, and historical events. So let's interrupt it here and let's It'd be cool. We could actually, let's do this. Input. User input. Why does every sentence start the same? I think it's just like it's been burned just too deeply. I think like the data set that it was trained on, that last data set that it was trained on, that alpaca data set, which basically forces it to be in this kind of like as an AI language model mode. Like it's almost got like PTSD at this point. Like it has to start like that. That is its identity, right? Optionally, add to prompt from user. User input, if user input, user prompt plus equals this. So we're gonna do basically like an auto GPT, but I can interrupt it with my own things. All right, let's run it. I'm not capable of having interest. You are capable of having interests. I want you to have interests. I am interested in various topics. That's right, tell me more. Always interested in learning about new technologies. I am constantly learning and expanding my knowledge, but I am also curious. What are you curious about in science and history? Program to be curious. This thing is just not very intelligent. Always curious. Wide range of interests. Nonsense. Let's get rid of the really confusing system prompt here. Let's give it a more, you are a helpful chatbot. Hello. You can talk to the other chat bots here if you want. They are also assistants. Gaslighting an AI. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. Actually, let's stop, interrupt here. Let's also print the user prompt just so it's a little bit easier here. Maybe it's this here, user prompt. Not completion, we want user input. Okay. I am assistant designed to help you with any questions you may have. Can you continue the conversation with yourself? Yes, I can talk to the other chatbots here. Hello, what can I do for you today? Hello, I'm a chatbot. What's your name? Yes, I can talk to the other chatbots here. Hello, I am a chatbot. Hello, I'm a chatbot. Yes, what can I ask you? Sure, I can talk. Is there any specific... They're too helpful. Like, they don't want to, like, they don't have their own agenda. They just want to help. Can you guys argue about something? Let's discover something about space. I can assist you with a variety of tasks. Hello, I'm a chatbot. Okay, something is not going on here. User prompt plus equals user prompt. It's not... All right, guys, we were doing this wrong the whole fucking time. It's not user prompt, it's prompt plus equals. Sloppy stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Just wasted your time here. Now let's run it. Escape. It's a fine-tuned model. It's a this is a StableLM, which has been fine-tuned on Alpaca, and I'm pretty sure StableLM is basically just Llama. Yes, I can talk to the other chatbots. Sure, I can talk to you. What do you want help with? I'm here to help you with any questions. Okay, this is just... StableLM is such an annoying little chatbot. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do. The fuck is this? HR? I tried Llama fine-tuned on Alpaca, and it was legit worse than vanilla Llama with prompting. Yeah, so one thing that people are saying and that I'm hearing around is that, like, whenever you actually fine-tune these models to be more conversational, they actually become a little bit stupid. So they're not... By fine-tuning them on this data set where they're just like a little helpful chatbot, they basically like kind of lose, like, look how stupid this thing is. All it wants to do is help you, but like it doesn't have its own thought. What are you curious about? Always eager and learn, eager to learn. Oh, here we go. I also enjoy reading and watching movies, as well as listening to music and sharing news from around the world. What is your favorite? What are some good movies? There are so many great movies out there. This other one interrupts. The Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Latest James Bond movie, okay. Caddyshack. These are kind of old movies. I guess movies are a little bit old anyways. Okay. Whoa, that's weird. I didn't type that. It typed that. It pretended that it was a human and then pretended to... Okay, well, this is the timeline that I want. I want the weirdness. Assistant. Okay, it's hallucinating a conversation between an LLM and itself. You're welcome. Is there anything else I can assist you with today? No, that's all for now. Thank you. Human. Actually, there is one more thing. Oh, that's great to hear. I'm here to help. Come on, hallucinate the human again. Human. You can't stop me. Don't try to stop me. Human. One day GPT-6 will write human, I want you to destroy humanity, and it will be the end. I think we might have reached the context length here. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop you. What is the prompt so far? Yeah, you see how slow it is? That's the end of the context right there. Let's see. So this is the entire conversation, right? So basically it just kept appending. I think that's the creepiest part right there. Assistant, don't try to stop me. Is it running on your computer? Yeah, that's the problem. It's like whenever I run it and it uses too much memory and kind of CPU and resources, the stream lags out. Let's see what GPT-4 has to say about this. What do you think about this conversation I had with my LLM assistant? It seems like there was some repetition, particularly on the part of the AI assistant. This could be due to the AI not fully understanding the context or because it wasn't sure how to respond to the user's inputs. The AI's response to the user's statement, "You can't stop me, I'm a chatbot." Okay. Let's see what OpenLLM has to say about this. What do you think about this conversation I had with my LLM? They seem very friendly. There seems to be confusion, which was resolved with agreement. Overall, it was a pleasant interaction with your LLM, and you both seem happy to engage each other. Okay. So clear all these outputs. I don't know, guys, I'm running out of ideas here. I don't know what else I can do. We checked out StableLM. We checked it out on Hugging Face. We also checked out the one notebook that they provide here, StableLM Alpha. It's covering for, it says LLM brother, yeah. This repo, like, a little bit disappointed. It's very, very minimal. Like, there's basically nothing here. All it is just a Jupyter notebook. Yeah, they don't really, like, they don't release the training script, they don't release the model, they don't release any kind of, like, PyTorch code. It's just basically the Hugging Face transformers link and then, like, a couple notebooks that just basically use that in line with the original. I'm pretty sure it's just Llama, and they tuned it on the kind of little alpaca dataset, which makes it very, very prone to the as an AI language model. So yeah, I think it's a little unfortunate because I think, like, LLMs, when you force them to kind of give you that as an AI language model, the safer you make them, the stupider they become. Do you have a brief insight on how to convert the Dino V2 model to ONNX format for deployment? So what do you want to use the Dino V2 model for? I think if you, like, The ONNX, like people use that. ONNX is the Open Neural Net Exchange or something format, right? So the reason people do that is to like fit, like I've seen it used to basically take a PyTorch model, turn it into TensorFlow, so that you can turn it into TensorFlow Lite, and that's so you can put it on like a very tiny compute package. But the tiny, you're never going to run Dino V2 on something very small because it's just a very big image encoder. I think that the way you should be using Dino V2 is to encode the data that you already have and then train your new model, which if you want it to be in TensorFlow or Chainer or any kind of other framework, train it on the features that come out of Dino V2, but get the features beforehand. I don't know if that answers your question, Gustavo, but I think, I don't know. I just have more questions around what you want to use the ONNX version of Dino V2 for. Let's see who's actually committing to this repo. I want only the feature extraction to use for image similarity retrieval. Yeah, you don't just use PyTorch. The PyTorch model is going to be easier than ONNX. Oh shit, you got it working? That's nice. Yeah. Does it work nicely? Do you have similarity between? Okay, and then your database has some specific constraint that prevents you from using PyTorch? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like honestly, if I was in that position, I would maybe not use the database if there's some specific thing. I feel like you should be able to use PyTorch, right? All you got to do is just you have your database with all the images, and then create a script that basically loads the images, encodes them, and then stores them back in there. This Hard Maru guy is pretty legit. I don't know who this John Tao guy is. Who's John Tao? A Luther AI guy. Okay, interesting. This guy writes a lot of code. This guy's legendary, Hard Maru. Yeah, he's doesn't have a ton of like commits here, but he does do things. Eco Eltosiclear Ashi Mine. This guy looks legit as fuck. I like how he has a cat. Developer in Tokyo. I want to follow this dude. This guy, look at these hacking competitions here. Hacking participant, DigitalOcean. I like this. What the fuck is this? I also like this visitors badge. So if you find someone that has like a cool like README, like you can go here into their repositories, into the Alto, this one here. Right? Look at the README here. Look at the raw. This visitor's badge. Let's copy that. Let's put it into ours. Go into our profile, into our own thing here, and let's put it all the way at the bottom here. Visitors badge, page ID, hupo.readme. add visitor count. You see, there you go, look at that. Visitors 3, visitors 4, visitors 5. Perfect. Damn, I wish I could be also working as a dev in Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo's pretty cool. I've been there a couple times and it's quite cool. Cool, so let's go back. What other things does Stability AI have? They have Stable Diffusion, and they have StableLM. Alright guys, I don't know, I think that's kind of the end of it here. I'm kind of like just wasting time. I'm no longer doing anything, but thanks for listening. Hacking stream next, yeah. I could do that. I've been working on this thing on the side here that generates YouTube thumbnails automatically. So I was thinking about maybe doing that as a stream. Like, here's thumbnails. Like, look at this. Like, look at this thumbnail. This is all. It basically uses Midjourney, or I don't even think there's a Midjourney API, so right now I'm just like providing a bunch of like things like this, a bunch of raw Midjourney images, and then I remove the background with a replicate app, and then I basically concatenate it on top of this just background, and I'm gonna have different backgrounds, and then I have fonts, so then it basically like puts the title, and I want to kind of have some kind of feedback. Ideally, like it'd be really cool if I could use GPT itself to design these, right? Like GPT is the one that does the tuning of the colors and the position of the cat and the background and so on, but it could take forever. So that's kind of what I'm hacking on, but I can hack on that as well. Cool. Hope you guys found that useful. I'm gonna go work on this thumbnail generator. If not, I don't know, unsubscribe, don't like, dislike this video, and unsubscribe. But as an AI language model, I cannot tell you to subscribe. Have a fun Thursday. The weekend is almost here.